You've worked hard on buying your brushes, spending the time to learn how to use them so that you can create. You've learned the right way each brush does a specific thing for you. But how do you care for them? How do you clean your brushes? How do you store your brushes? That and more right after this. Hi, I'm Tim Longwell with Longwell Art. You just finished a beautiful painting like the one behind me over here. And now you need to clean your brushes after you worked so hard to learn how to use them, to get the right brushes, and to be able to save money so that you don't constantly have to be replacing them. Learning how to clean your brushes correctly and the ways you can use to clean them make a big difference in how long and how often your brushes have to be replaced. Now, there are several ways to clean your brushes depending on what you're using. But if you're using an oil paint, and if you're using either odorless mineral spirits, or if you're using one of the scented oils like lavender oil or something like that, you're going to want a container. And you're going to want a container that'll seal. Now, a jar like this will work. But when you're working, that one you can't reclose without a lot of hassle. So what I recommend is that you get a container like this one. The nice thing about this one is when you're in hard storage, it's closed nice and tight. It's got a seal ring around it, like as you can see. And it's weighted enough lid so that when you're not painting, it'll keep the fumes of your cleaner in the container. To clean a brush after you've gotten paint on it, this particular type of cleaner, you just stick it in there, wash it around. There's a little bar in here that you can brush and wipe it off on, or you can use it just on the edge. You take a towel and you wipe it dry. Make sure you get, and you can check, make sure you got the color out, because if you still got some that you need to wash out, it'll show up on your paper towel or your cloth or whatever. You just keep working with it until it comes out fairly clear. Now, the problem with it is that you're not going to get your brushes absolutely clean every time with that type of cleaner. If you're using acrylics or watercolors, you can use a little bin like this. This particular one's nice because on this side over here, it's got these little ridges so that you can clean your brush with. It's got the little slots on this side, so you can just rest your brush in there and it'll keep it down in the water and keep your bristles moist, because when you're using watercolors and acrylics, you would tend to want to use a little more moisture so that your paints and everything don't dry out while you're trying to use them on the canvas or watercolor paper. The same problem can result with these. No matter how hard you work to keep those watercolor and acrylic brushes clean, you still reach a point where they don't come absolutely clean. So sometimes you have to go a little further. One of the many things you can buy is commercial brush cleaners from your art supply. You just put it in a little jar like this, and you just swish it around. This particular type, after you finish swishing it around in there and everything, it'll actually even pull a lot of the tint that your brushes will pick up, because some paints stain more than others. And it'll actually pull a lot of that out, and it'll revive them, because a lot of these have a lanolin in them. With oil paints, your trusty hand cleaner from an auto parts store will also help. You just take a little bit of it in your hand, dip your finger in the jar, wipe it in your hand, then just take your brush and just work it. And you want to work that cleaner up into the bristles. And the reason you want to do that is because your paint, acrylic and oil paint, will collect right up in here. And this is the main killer of your brushes, is because as the paint builds up here and hardens, these bristles start to break off and then eventually the paint just dries out and dries out and dries out to the point that there's no flexibility in the brush anymore. These brushes, believe it or not, I've had over 3 years. With the proper care, they can last you a long time. One other thing you can use to clean your brushes if you're using oil paints is baby oil. And baby oil, you'd use the same principle as I use for my natural mineral spirits. What I do is originally I take this container, when the paint is all oily and dirty and everything, I'll pour it with a funnel into the first jug. As you can see, this one's tinted pretty good. And I let it settle. And it'll eventually settle to where the paint, the thinner with the paint in it, separates and you get a clear liquid, moderately clear like this. Then you pour it into another container once again and let it settle some more, and what's left will settle in the bottom. As you can see, this has done. Then you'll pour this off into a third container, and you'll do the same with your oil paint, with your baby oil. And you pour it off into yet another container, and you'll hold your cleaned mineral spirits or baby oil in a last container that you can re-add to your cleaning container that you're using while you're painting. And then just you keep the same process going ongoing. 2 reasons you want to do this. Number 1 is environmental, because you're not pouring it down the sink into the water system and you're not pouring it out on the ground, so you're not harming the environment. By doing this way and with this lid, you're letting less vapors escape as it cleans through each stage as well. So it keeps the vapors down and keeps the environment clean. You stay healthy and you help others by being environmentally responsible. And that's all there is to cleaning brushes. If you have any questions, be sure and drop me an email or put a post in the comments down below. If you find these tips helpful, be sure and subscribe to the channel so you'll know the next time that we upload a video or go live. There's a little bell notification you can click that'll tell you every time you log into YouTube. Check out the video